welcome back to the Purl Up Dye podcast. Episode 2, I can't believe it, I'm doing it again. So I wanted just to give a quick thank you to everybody who's subscribed and who are returning viewers. If I have any returning viewers, I maybe have a few, I don't know. But if I do, if you're back again, well, welcome back. If you're a new subscriber, then a quick intro. My name is Jaden. I live in Saskatchewan, Canada, and this is a podcast about knitting and yarn and crochet, and there's probably going to be some sewing and, you know, crafty stuff. I'm kind of a crafter of all trades. I love everything. So so welcome back. You can find me on Instagram as Little Prairie Purl. You can find me on Etsy as well. I have a small shop. It's littleprairiepearl.etsy.com, and you can find me on Ravelry as Little Prairie Purl, which is my business account. I have designs for sale on that one, but my main account is Creations on a Whim. So that's where I've got all of my projects and my yarns linked and everything. So if you want to check, you know, my stuff out, that's the one to go to, is Creations on a Whim. So yeah, so let's get started. What first? Last week in my podcast, I had shown off some works in progress. So I'm going to recap those, show what I've been working on and what I'm planning on working on, and a few little yarn acquisitions and things that have landed my way. So first off, I wanted to show you an FO. I finished something last week. So if you watched me last week, you knew I was making a little dress for my daughter's bear, which is kind of crazy, but she loves it. She carries it around. She told her older sister, who's 8, she's like, "You're not allowed to take this dress off forever." So I think she liked it, which I was really glad. So anyways, this is Barry in all her finery. She's got a beautiful rainbow dress, and I did a garter stitch hem. I mentioned it last week. I was hoping that it wouldn't roll. It still rolls. It still flips up, but if I would have blocked it, I'm sure it would have come out, but not gonna block a dress for a bear. Not gonna happen. So, finished object for this week. I think that's the only thing I finished. I have a case of startitis. I want to start everything right now. What else? I was been working on my husband's sweater. I didn't bother bringing it. I decided to do the body in the round because the ends were just way too much for me. I'm doing a jogless join when I do the stripes. I finally figured out how to do it. I watched YouTube videos and understand now how to do them better so I don't get a weird little pull. So I'm really enjoying that. I've got that much of the sweater done. The problem with it being in the round is that it takes twice as long, but it'll be done faster, so eventually. And I don't have to purl back, which I'm a pretty fast purler, but if I just have to knit in the round, I can do it with my eyes closed. Actually, I did do it with my eyes closed. I was showing my kids. I'm like, "Look, Mommy can do it with my eyes closed." And then I dropped a stitch. Just keep your eyes open. Don't do what I did. Learn from my mistakes. So that was, sorry, I'm doing it again. I have notes, so if I look away, you know, that's why. So, I was going to show you my cuff down sock. I thought I was so organized today, and I forgot my cuff down sock again, so my bad. I'm going to be doing this in segments because I have to turn it off every 20 minutes or my camera stops. So maybe in one of those intermissions, I will go grab those, but for right now, I don't have it. So yes, my berry dress, I've been working on that. Worked on my husband's sweater. I'm working on those socks. And that's pretty much it. I don't think I've started anything new. I want to. I'll talk about that soon. But I mentioned last week that I had knit some 3-color cashmere shawls, so I will show you those as a flashback. We did this last week too. Flashback Thursday? Flashback. I need to think of a clever name. But anyways, a way back knit. I'm going to show you. I did them. I'd never knit them before. I never even made the shawl this big before. But Grocery Girls, they have knit-alongs every once in a while. And they did I think it was specific for this shawl. A 3-color cashmere shawl knit-along. And I thought, you know what? What the heck? I'll do it. So I started one, and then I didn't like the third choice of the yarn, so I stopped. And then I started a second one because I really wanted to finish one in time for the knit-along. So I made this one. This is beautiful There we go. So it's really long. Like, here's one end. There it is. And then it goes, boop, and there's the middle. Oops, sorry. And then, and then it's really long. It's like over 8 feet, I believe, by the time it was all pinned out. Took me forever. My back was killing me by the time I finished blocking this sucker, but it is so worth it. I love it so much. It's squishy. So the yarn I used for it, for the white, I used Knit Picks Hawthorne in just their bare colorway. It's like a twist, like a 2-ply twist. It's really nice to work with. I find that 2-ply twist is a little bit springy, and it likes to wrap itself on, you know, like a twist onto itself and get a little bit curly cute, but just pull that and it's okay. But it was a little frustrating, but I did enjoy it. And then this yarn is a gradient set. It's in my intro. There's like 5 little balls of this coral color, all in one color and darker. That's the yarn that I used for this. So I started with, I didn't use the very lightest color because it was like a soft, like barely, I don't know, it was too close to my skin tone and it just didn't look good next to my face, so that's why I used the cream instead. But yeah, so I used the other 4 balls of it. So I've got, started with the lightest, the second lightest, and it worked into there. And then you can't even see, it was really gradual, that one. But between these 2 stripes, it went from the lighter to the next one. And then I should have done it like alternated rows here, because you can see the line where it switched, but I mean, it doesn't bother me that much, so it was a gradient. And then the darkest one was where I did the lace, and then I started running out of yarn, so I could only do 2 repeats. The 3-color cashmere shawl has a 3-row lace repeat. I did 2. And then instead of the picot bind off, I ended up doing, it's similar, but it was, I don't remember, I'll have to look back at my notes, but basically it ended up being more like a scalloped edge. And I think with the picot you did like cast on 2 and then bind off 5, and I think I might have just done like cast on 1 and bind off 3. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's in my notes, so I'll have to go look at my project page and see. But I really liked how this edge turned out. I thought it was just, it turned out really, really sweet. So, and this, the gradient yarn, sorry, that was made from, it's made by Rain City Knits. She's a dyer out of Vancouver, I believe, Vancouver, Canada, like BC, Canada. And, but the yarn kit was called Kaleidoscope Yarns, and it was like a 5-pack, and it's exclusive to River City Yarns in Edmonton, Alberta. My sister was visiting Edmonton, and she went in there, and she's like, oh, do you need yarn? I'm like, nope, I don't need any yarn, don't bother. And then she started sending me pictures, and I'm like, oh my goodness. When I saw the yarn, I'm like, that one, buy it for me. I love this color. It's like my favorite. I wear a lot of it. I have like a hoodie and shirts, and it's ridiculous, really. I've got so much of this color, so I was really happy with this one. So that was my first, and I got it done in time with like a month to spare. They gave such a generous amount of time for their knit along, so I was like, you know what, I already had one half done. Like I said, I stopped because I didn't like the yarn that I picked for the 3rd stripe, so I picked that one up again, and this is the one I've got from that. And it's substantially bigger. So with the first one that I did smaller needles, and I don't know if I just didn't block it as aggressively, and then because I only had the 2 stripes, they're the 2 lace repeats, so it turned out to be a little bit smaller than this one. This one I used bigger needles. The yarns here, this is Knit Picks Stroll in their Tranquil colorway. This is Knit Picks Stroll in their Duchess Heather colorway. Pretty sure. And then this one is this really fun gray speckle, and it's got these colors of like the teal and the turquoise and the pink and the purple. Now there's like shots of red in there, just very few. And it's also by Smack Super Fibers. I mentioned them last week with the crazy yarn for the socks. So I used them for this, and it's, I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, but the wool is Targi, something like that. Yeah. I've never heard of that blend before, and it's really nice. It's a bit, I would consider it more like a workhorse kind of yarn. It's not nearly as soft as this, which is like superwash merino, which I know the superwashing process softens it up a lot. But I believe this is also superwash, and like you can feel the difference, but it's not like scratchy or uncomfortable or anything. It's really beautiful yarn. I really, really liked it. I think it just finished it off perfect. And then with this one, because by the time you finish the shawl, you start with like 7 stitches and you end with close to 500. So I just didn't feel like doing the picot bind off because, I mean, this was my second. I was kind of done at that point. So I just did a garter stitch hem, and then I just bound off with like a stretchy, it's not even super stretchy. It might have just been a regular bind off, but I like it. I think it turned out really good. I wear it quite a bit. Now that it's cold again, I'll wear it more because we did the knit along, I don't even remember what month it was, spring. So it was just getting into the summery season and it was just too warm. So I'm cold, so I'm just gonna put it on. Like, it's a crescent, so it's kind of nice. I'm just gonna throw it on. It's not gonna look beautiful, but you don't see it anyways. But I'm freezing downstairs again, so. Oh, and last week I mentioned we had snow, and I was sad and lamenting the fact that fall was over, but happily, the snow melted. So we now have green grass again. I can see that. The leaves changed color. It's beautiful outside. My willow tree in the front, it decided to drop like all its leaves at once, so we had like a thick layer like this on our lawn. I'm not even lying. It was terrible. I thought, I'm gonna go help my husband. I'm gonna help him rake. And then I threw my back out. So my chiropractor will be seeing me next week. I'll be like, help me. So I told husband, there's no help next year. You're raking on your own, buddy. So yeah, so that was that for my whips and FOs. And also, I also mentioned last week, I was really disorganized, super, super nervous. And I said, oh, I'm gonna show you this, and then I forgot. So last week I mentioned that story about Amanda Yarn Enabler, her yarn, and how much I loved it. So I said, I'm gonna show it, and I am. This is what I have left. This is they look the same. I think this is the dominantly blue one. I can't even tell now. Yes, this is the dominantly blue one, and it has a thin pike stripe. And this one's the dominantly pink one with a thin blue stripe. Did I say that right? I'll find out. So, anyways, that yarn. And these are the socks. I'm in the process of frogging them, so their cuffs are a little wobbly. But these were the socks that I made. So here's the pink one. So you can see that it's dominant. And then it's got this thin blue. And then the blue one. So together they're my fraternal memory socks. And I love them. So the only thing with this, like, I really like it and I wanted chevrons. And these are, the reason I'm frogging them is because with when you do the chevrons, you're doing like your pulling stitches and your slipping stitches. It makes the socks tighter. And I didn't realize that. And they're just a bit too snug on my feet, and they're pulling the stitches in a weird way so that it's, when I'm wearing it, it doesn't look good. And also the pattern I did was irregular stripes sock. And it's by an artist or a designer named Fnugg. I don't know if they pronounce it Fnugg or if it's like Scandinavian. I don't know. So I've just butchered it. I'm very sorry. If you're the designer, maybe send me a message and tell me how to pronounce it. But anyways, that's by her. And they're really cool, but I'm too OCD. I want them to be the same. So like you get two like shorties chevrons and then one big chevron on this side. And I just would rather to have them all even. So these are coming out. So if you know of a good chevron pattern, I'd like something with a really high peak instead of just like the little softy waves, because I'd really like to show off the color change. I tried the Jaywalker one, but I wasn't really a big fan of it, but maybe I should just try it again. I don't know. So, if you have a suggestion, that would be great. So yeah, so that was Amanda's amazing, amazing yarn. And it's so soft. I'm really looking forward to knitting with it again. So yeah. So, I don't know what to show now. This is my problem. I think I have it all like planned out in my head how the podcast is gonna go, and when I'm not filming, it's like seamless and amazing, and then I get here and it's like, well, hi, don't know what to say. But so I guess some yarn acquisitions. I didn't do any shopping this week. I was good. I stuck to, actually I didn't really do much. I didn't knit a lot or anything. I've been sewing. I have like I said, a small Etsy shop, and I've been trying to make some project bags to sell because I know I love them. Until you use a project bag, you're like, I don't need one. But then you're constantly buying, like stuffing it in a grocery bag or something, so why not have something pretty, right? So I started sewing myself project bags, and then I got a couple Mrs. Brown's bags, and I have another one. I'll show it next week because I wanted to show it this week, but then I thought, you know what? I always give my kids heck when we have company and they run to their room and show them like everything they own. So I was like, no, I'm going to save some things so I have something to talk about next week. So next week I'll show you my newest project bag that I ordered. I've had it for about a month now. I really like it. It's totally different shape than what I'm used to. So I really, really like it. And maybe you will too. So I will show my sewing, my project bags and stuff, and those little tags. I mentioned gift tags last month or last podcast. And then I completely forgot to show them. So I have those. But I'll do that at the end with like a shop update kind of idea. So, but I did get some mail this week, which was really kind. It was actually from a friend of mine. I met her a few months ago. We've never met in person. We met through Instagram, actually. She'd reached out to me and you know, just wanted to say hello, and she lives about 3 or 4 hours from me in Saskatchewan, so you don't run across lots of knitters from Saskatchewan. I'm sure there's lots, but I don't know, they keep to themselves or something, I'm not sure, but anyways, it was nice to find somebody from close to home. So she reached out, and so we started chatting, and she sent me some really awesome little teeny weeny scissors. They're like, she designs them. Did you know that there was such thing as a scissors designer? There is! She is one, and it's really cool. She's got the most adorable styles. They're really awesome. She sells them to yarn shops and to cross-stitching shops and stuff like that. So they're quite interesting. So we were chatting, and anyway, she asked me along the way if I would knit her a shawl. She didn't have time, and she really, really would like them, and so she sent me the yarn and everything, and I knit a shawl for her. And it was a 3-color cashmere, so it was kind of like on autopilot, and I really enjoyed it. I love this pattern. Like, I've knit it now 4 times. I would knit it a 5th. I'm gonna wait. I don't have any desire to cast it on like right now because I've done so many since May. Sorry, I'll have to cut that out. I scared myself so bad. Okay, my apologies. Alarm clocks don't work that good for podcasting. My bad. Anyways, what was I saying before I jumped out of my skin? Dang it. Now I don't remember. Oh, Paula. Yes. Anyways, knit her a shawl. And I whisked it off to her. She'd mentioned she was going away, so I was like, okay, I'll get it done. And I sent it to her. And she went away on vacation, and she came back, and she says, I have a package for you. And I says, oh, well, that's kind, you know, like, yay. I thought, you know, a postcard or, you know, a souvenir or something like that. So I was, you know, waited for it. She sent me, you're not even going to believe it, this is insane. She went to Paris. She went to this place. I'm not French, I'm Canadian, but I cannot speak French even though we are a bilingual country. Sorry. Anyways, it's La Bien Aimee. And she's a hand dyer. She lives in Paris. I've never heard of her before, but I mean, oh my goodness. I must have been living under a rock because her yarn is gorgeous. So anyways, she bought me, She went to their shop in Paris. I keep saying that because it just amazes me. That's like a dream place. I'm going to go someday. But she sent me 4 skeins of the most like, luscious and soft and beautiful yarn. I'm sure it's one of the most beautiful yarns I've ever had the privilege of holding and looking at and playing with. The main color is like a really soft pink that almost goes into like a light peachy color, and then it's got these amazing flecks of like teal and this bright purple, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. I can't even tell you. You cannot see how beautiful this is. And this is 100% merino. It's a single. It's 400 yards. So I have enough for a sweater. And actually, when I got my package yesterday, when I say I cried, I'm not being flippant or, you know, exaggerating. As soon as I opened the box, my throat lumped up, and I was blinking a lot, like really, really fast, lots of blinking going on. And then I read her note, and her note sent me over, and I cried. I had tears. My daughter was like, "What's wrong with you? It's yarn." I'm like, but it's not just yarn, it's the sentiment behind the gift. She sent me a note saying, you know, like, thanked me so much for knitting her this shawl, and so much appreciated, and that she wanted me to make sure I took some time out for myself and knit something that I would love. So I am going to make myself a sweater. I don't know which one. I'm trying to decide. I'm thinking I want something with some lace, something to really show off and like make this like a drop dead gorgeous finished project. Because I'm sorry, this yarn, it can't just be hidden away in a shelf. It needs to be something, and it needs to be something on my needles now. Because everything that's on my needles is either for my designs, or it's for my husband, or it's been for my kids. I don't remember, like I knit these for myself, which were the first things in a long time. So, and that actually kind of brings me into something else that I wanted to talk about. I'm like watching some new podcasts. I was watching, if you haven't checked her out yet, do. Her name is Amber. She's the Yarn Hoarder, and she is hysterical. I snicker away to myself. She's only had 2 podcasts, one official podcast and one like a Rhinebeck update, and I enjoyed them both like so much. They just made me smile, and she giggles about, you know, little stuffed animals, and she's like, I think she's just so fun. Anyway, her first podcast, she was talking about, you know, the aversion that she had to knitting herself a sweater, because she wasn't happy with herself, and, you know, she wanted to wait. You know, there's always something, and I am so like that. I'm not a small person, so I need, you know, yarn. I need quite a bit of it to knit myself a sweater, and I've always talked myself out of it, like, oh, I'll knit one for my husband, who he's a man, and he's taller, and he takes almost the same amount of yardage as that I would take, but to me, he's worth it. My kids have each got a few, at least one sweater. I've made, I think, 2 sweaters for my older daughter, and at least 2, like I've made a full-length sweater and then like some shirts or like little tank tops for the summer. I've made my littlest daughter that. So it's, garments to me are worth it, but somehow I've never been worth having a sweater. And she said that, and she says, you know what? Everyone deserves a sweater. And it is true. Everyone does deserve a sweater. And so, I deserve a sweater. So if you have suggestions, I would like something a little lacy, a little bit loose fitting, but not sloppy looking. I don't really enjoy really tight. I would like a cardigan. I've decided already. I like to wear a cardigan over a main shirt, like plain shirts. That's just what I wear the most, and I'm more comfortable in. So if you can think of anything right off the bat, send it my way, and I will consider it, because you know how Ravelry is. I got sucked in, and I think I looked at patterns for about 3 hours yesterday, and I'm no closer to decision. That Hitofude or Hitofude, something. everybody knows it. It's got 4,000 projects. I'm thinking that, but I haven't decided. So if you know of one in the works that you think would be perfect, tell me to wait, and I will. So yeah, so anyways, with the whole knitworthy, I'm knitworthy thing, I just wanted to talk about, it's coming on to gift giving season. I know a lot of people are knitting gifts. I like to knit gifts for my family, just because, not even necessarily for any particular reason, just because. So I'm also on a group in Ravelry, and it's called Selfish Knitters. I'm not a selfish person, like that's not what it means. It means that you knit what you want for who you want, when you want, and you're not going to be voluntold. And I am very much like that. I like to knit when the whim hits me. I don't like to be feeling pressured to knit something. A couple times I have done commission knits, and I did enjoy them because I accepted them because I wanted to, and not because they were insistent or pushy or anything. So if I didn't want to, I wouldn't have said yes. So, but I know so many people knit gifts, and it's, for me, I knit for those that I know will appreciate it. If I give them something and they didn't appreciate it, and I'm not even expecting like people to fawn all over it and be like, oh, thank you so much, but a heartfelt thank you, and to see them using it, there's nothing better than that. To know that they love it because it's part of their everyday life is really nice. Like my husband, I make him socks, and even though he's got feet like really, really long, they're size 12 men's, US size, like huge feet. And well, there I am knitting away on these little teeny weeny needles, and I do it because he wears them to death. I mean, literally, I've got a few pairs, 3 pairs, that I'm going to have to, I bought a darning egg, and I'm going to have to darn these socks heels, and I'm a little intimidated, but I'll do it because he loves those socks and he wears them, and I so appreciate that. My daughter, I knit her a sweater out of that tweed DK that I was making my husband's sweater out of. She cried. She's 8, but she's never had a sweater that fits her just right because she's really long, very slender. She's always been consistently one size ahead of her size. So like when she was 6 months, she was in 12 months, which isn't uncommon. But when she was in her first birthday, she was in size 2. And when she was 2, she was in 3, you know, so it continued. So she needs now like a size 10, 12 for length, but then they're way too wide because she's like this wide, seriously. And so back to school shopping ended up in tears a few times because she loved the style, but then they didn't work on her body type, and I'm not like, oh, that looks bad or anything. I don't want her to feel embarrassed, but they just didn't work for her body type. So I knit her a sweater. I did the custom fit. She has it for kids now, which is amazing. So when she got that sweater, she teared up and she cried, and that's why I knit. I love to knit and get those kind of reactions. And so yeah, I've had a few times where I've gifted and it gets thrown aside, and I'm like, well, you're off the list. You didn't like it, too bad, you're done, and it means more time for me, so that's all right. So anyways, I think that's pretty much it. So I'm going to do a small shop update, I guess, and we'll go from there. So if you don't want to look at my shop stuff, that's completely fine, and you want to turn it off, then I will hopefully see you again next week. But if you do, well, hang on. Alright, so back again. I keep saying I'm back again. I didn't go anywhere, but you know, hey. Okay, so anyways, last week I mentioned that I make sassy little knitting tags, and then I said, oh, I'll show them later. Totally forgot. So I'm going to show them to you now. They come in a little cellophane package, all safe and snug. Anyways, they come in a set of 8. And there we go, there's 8. And these are heavy duty, like they're quite heavy, they're not flimsy. I don't know if you can read them. Anyways, they say things like, this is for you because I love you the most. Shh. Don't want to tell people. Don't tell anyone. I like you better than Grandma. This took forever. Because, you know, knitting is not a instantaneous thing. If you don't like this, the no more knitting for you goes quite well with what I was saying before. This is for you, so take care of it like your firstborn. This one's one of my favorites. Well, yes, it is handmade. No, it's not cheap, because we also know, even if you used inexpensive yarns, which I oftentimes do, your time is worth something. So, just because it didn't cost a lot doesn't mean that it's not a valuable item. Am I right? Because I'm like, ugh. Who wants to spend that many hours into working on something for someone just to be like, oh, thanks. But anyways, if they do that, don't knit for them again. Forget it. Not worth your time. This one took me forever to knit, so you better use it. This one's my favorite. It goes with the last time when I threw my knitting across the room. I have been known to do it more than once. Even now, when something is frustrating. This one says, made with love, except when I messed it up and I threw it. It's happened. And congrats, you have been deemed worthy, one of the few. So anyways, it's a set of 8. You get one of each tag in each set. And so they're really fun. So they're perfect. They've got ready to hole punch. They've got a hole punch in the top, so they're ready to tie onto a gift. And you know, they make it so that you can say what you always wanted to say, but you're not brave enough. You put it on a tag, you can just smile. And you know, if you're worried about Grandma getting offended, use one of the, like, this took forever. It's not offensive. If it's for somebody that, you know, your sister, you maybe use one that's a little bit snappier, if you want. So there's those. I'm just going to put it back in the package, but that takes way too much work. And then the other thing that I do have a few little designs, not much. I keep like my Ravelry for my sales, and I do sell through Knitpicks as well, my patterns. I don't sell patterns on Etsy for whatever reason. It's just not really one thing I do, but I do sell. I don't have these up in the shop yet, but they'll be going up in the next day or two. But I have little project bags, so I will show them. These are small bags. They fit like a sock project. I'll put some yarn in and then you can see how big they are, but I don't even know the finished measurements. I can't remember, but they're like a perfect skein, like 1 or 2 skein with socks. So they've got a 3-inch bottom, which was kind of a happy accident. I meant for them to have a 2-inch bottom, and I can't measure. Because, you know, everybody knows 1.5 inches, when 1.5 inches equals, because I cut 1.5 inches from each side before I boxed them, that obviously equals 2 when it's morning and you haven't had coffee. So I ended up with a wider bottom, and I loved it because now it's got this big fat base. It fits a cake of yarn. I don't have a cake of yarn. You know, I swear. Just give me a second. I'll get it out. Here, look at my jar. My jar makes me happy. So, here's a ball. Here's a nice hefty one. And so it fits in the bottom. Boop. There it is. Without making it bulge. Like on the sides. I have another one that I did that is 2 inches, and I mean, while it sits flat and it's great and everything, it's just it's narrower, right? So it's smaller, and so the ball just makes it go fat. So this is I love it, and as you could see from when I put it in, like there's a lot of room in there. Like I can fit my whole hand almost up to my wrist before I'm touching that ball. So that's a nice size. So I have this one, and I love the zipper pulls. Each one comes with a zipper pull, and I've taken probably too much time, and I found little charms to match each one. So this is kind of a geometric pattern, so I was like, I don't know, this one I could go on anyway. But I ended up putting a little tiny, I don't know, you can't see what it is. It's a paper airplane, and it's so cute. So there's that one, and then I have this little mushroom one, and it's got a little red gingham bottom. He's really sweet, and it has a butterfly. Sorry, I stick my tongue out. I do that all the time when I'm crafting. If I'm concentrating really hard, it's like, got my tongue out. My husband laughs at me. He's like, you got your tongue out again. I'm like, shh, I'm counting. But he knows now if I'm like, my mouth is moving and no sound's coming out, it's like, interrupt me and you're in so much trouble. I'm sure most knitters understand that sentiment. So anyways, another one is this cute little, it's like peach and mint, and it's got a little mint bottom, and it has a little sewing, like a measuring tape, a little, yeah, so cute. Love it. And this is my favorite. I made one for myself because this pattern is so cute, and now I can't get it, so I could probably find it on Etsy, but it's only US sellers, and I end up paying more for shipping than I do for the actual fabric, so that's kind of sad. So I'm on the hunt for more of this. If you see some of this along the way and you can tell, send me a note who sells it so I can order some more, because I love it so much. I'd like to have a big, like a sweater size project bag out of this, but this one, it's like all these pops, like cherry fizz and grape and orange cream, and it's so cute. Seltzer water, really, really cute. And the bottom, they're pop bottles. They're so cute. And the tag, you can't see it, it's so blurry. It's a pop bottle. It is so, so cute. I love this bag. So like I said, I kept one. I didn't want to, because I thought, oh, they're so cute, they should both go in my shop. But then I was like, nope. The reason I got into sewing bags was so I would have some, and then I end up not keeping any for myself. So that's ridiculous. So I was watching Nicole from Hiroko, her podcast, and she was saying that she was looking everywhere for a specific color of worsted weight yarn. And then she's like, hello, I dye yarn. So she dyed herself. And I think that's so typical of makers. It doesn't matter if you're a knitter or a crafter or a sewist or whatever you are. It seems like you do it, you start because you want those items, and then you turn around and you don't end up making them for yourself. And I think, why is that? And it's, you know, it's so common. So I don't know. So make yourself something. That's the theme of this podcast today, is that you are worth knitting yourself something for, you're worth sewing yourself something for, and keep some of your own things. You took the time to learn, take the time to knit for yourself, or crochet, or whatever it is that you happen to do. But, oh, and inside the bags, I think most of them, well, this one happens to have a blue liner, but I think the rest of them have like this, just a white on white pattern. You can't see it maybe, but it's just like all these little polka dotty circles. They're really cute. I just went with a basic inside thing to make my life easier, and because it was cute and it matches everything. White looks good with everything. So yeah, so that's that for this week, I guess. I thought it was gonna be a really long podcast, but I guess I'm pretty good at chatting really fast, so I guess that'll be that. So I guess and I say that a lot, don't I? I guess I apologize. I swear the next one will be better than this one. I promise. Not supposed to show that. So, now wait. So I guess I'm gonna go. And I really appreciate you guys. Oh, one thing before. Somehow, some way through the night, I had about like 73 subscribers, which like totally blew my mind. I'm like, there's 73 people who actually want to see me again. I can't even believe that. And this morning I woke up and there was 96. So somewhere along the way, I picked up 20 subscribers and like 300 new views. So I don't know if somebody posted, you know, about that. If you did, thank you so much. I appreciate it. You don't even know. But if you're watching this, like a viewer, and you hear my name or you hear of my podcast being shared, I would love, love, love to know, because I would like to check out those sources, the podcast, or, you know, say thank you, because I appreciate it so much. Like, if you don't podcast, or if you do, you know, it's really scary to put yourself out there and just to film yourself. I'm like sitting by myself with yarn and I'm like, you know what, nobody's gonna care what I say. I don't know if I have anything to offer the podcast world. There's so many that I really enjoy watching. But I thought, you know what, heck, I'm gonna do it anyways because I have an excuse to talk about yarn because my friends are like, shut up, I don't care. So, you know, if you took the time out of your day to watch me, I really appreciate it, and I would love to find others that are enthusiastic and love to talk about it too. So I do watch a few other podcasts. If you don't, if you're looking for something new to watch and you don't know what to do, I mentioned Yarn Hoarder. She's new. She's really, really amazing. She's got about hour-long podcasts. Liked her so much. I could have watched her for another hour at least. Grocery Girls I've mentioned before. I am Nicole from Hiroko. She's really good. She's a dyer. She likes to do her shop updates and she talks about what she's knitting in her life and stuff. She's really enjoyable to watch. I'm super far behind on the Knitting Expat, but she's worth a watch as well. Some new ones I've picked up are Nora George Yarns. Tracy from Nora George. She's so fun, and her last one she showed her children. They're so cute and they're British and they are so adorable and I love them so much. Even my husband came over, he's like, they're so cute. So she's fun to watch. I enjoy her too. And who else? There was somebody else. Oh, Katie from Inside Number 23. She's enjoyable. I really like her. She's spunky and she's got lots of energy and she's really fun to watch. And Sue and Chelsea are my other ones. Those are my regulars. So there's like 7. So it keeps me pretty busy, but I would love to hear of more. If you have one that you absolutely love, send me a comment, and I would love to check them out. So also, if you like what you see, if you could subscribe, that would be amazing. If you'd like to, you know, see me again, then you would get a notification that I have something new up. I'm going to try to do them weekly. While it works, I might run out of things to say by next week, so, you know, maybe there'll only be 2 podcasts, but I hope not. And, yeah, I guess that's it. So, thank you again for watching. This is the Purl Up Dye podcast, episode 2, and we will see you next week. All right, thanks.